Welcome, truth seekers and freedom lovers. This is Mick here with the Freedom Articles, and in this video I'm going to take a look at what's happened the last few days with Netanyahu meeting Trump and their joint announcements at the press conference, and Trump's many comments over the last day or two about what the US is going to do to Gaza. Now, there have been a number of articles in the last year or two, chiefly in the Israeli media, talking about Gaza 2035. You can see there's illustrations here. This is all done by AI, but they're already dreaming about what they're going to do when they completely grab the land of Gaza. That's what their goal is on the way to eradicating all of the Palestinians, grabbing all the Palestinian land and a lot of the rest of the countries around them. But what is very interesting, there's a number of key points to really focus on with what Trump has been saying the last day or two. One is that he basically was saying that the population there is now around 1.7 million or 1.8 million. So he means 1.7 to 1.8 million. Now, this official Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics chart shows us that the population of Gaza before the whole war was around about 2.2 million, a little bit above that. So if we're going by that, that basically means that Trump is admitting this number is we're 400 to 500,000 less than this number. So that's the real death toll. And the death toll just recently went up by 20,000 in the last week with all the new bodies they found. But we know that this death toll of 40,000 or 60,000 is greatly underreported. Even the the Lancet put out a report saying that the death toll was 186,000, and that was quite a while ago now. So the real death toll could be 500,000, 500,000 Palestinians killed. Now, what has been happening in the last day or two is that Trump is saying that the US is just going to take over Gaza. Just going to take it over. In another comment, he said that the US is going to have a long-term ownership position. Those were his exact words. And you can listen to him talk, but this exactly echoes what Jared Kushner, the ultra-Zionist who used to have Benjamin Netanyahu stay in his bedroom when Netanyahu was visiting New York, they've been lusting after this Gaza Seafront land for a long time. Now, here's what Trump has to say when questioned by a reporter. Well, what are you going to do? Just take over Gaza? Who's going to live there, etc.?
I envision world people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has... you just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something.
So the Riviera of the Middle East. Okay, and now here's another clip where he's talking about how Israel doesn't have enough land and it's really tiny compared to all the countries around it.
It's a small country in terms of land. See this pen, this wonderful pen? My desk is the Middle East. And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel. That's not good, right? That's a pretty big difference. I use that as an analogy. It's pretty accurate, actually. It's a pretty small piece of land. And it's amazing that they've been able to do what they've been able to do when you think about it. There's a lot of good, smart brain power, but it is a very small piece of land, no question about it.
So this is really what's obviously behind it. They want to just get more land. It's a Greater Israel project. They're dreaming about taking over Gaza and kicking everyone out. Netanyahu also gave Trump a golden pager as a gift. And Trump's response was, that was a tremendous operation. And that's, of course, a reference to the Mossad operation of infiltrating Hezbollah, the supply chain, and detonating the pagers and walkie-talkies. But another way to look at this is that this pager could also be a threat of basically don't cross us because we can blow you up. That could be the symbolism behind that. There is a Zionist group called Betar. They were caught offering $1,800 to incite people, to basically give them pages, walk up to people that weren't pro-Israel and give them pages. This is one of their operations, since it's obviously a way to intimidate and threaten them. Sometimes a picture tells everything. Look at this, Trump pushing in the chair for Netanyahu. This is the relationship they have. But what is really striking about this for me is that Trump is glossing over and rebranding the genocide and land grab, which is enabled by the US and executed by Israel. And he's speaking about it as though it was an unavoidable natural disaster, that some bad thing hit Gaza, but now the US is going to come in and rescue, when it is precisely the Israeli operation of allowing Hamas to attack, the whole false flag operation on October 7th, 2023, that they use as an excuse to then kill what could be 500,000 Gazans, 500,000 people, not to mention inflict an incredible amount of damage on the land there. So they don't even mention that. Whenever Trump is talking about it, he's just like, well, we've tried. Gaza can't be lived in. Nothing can be done. Like they've got to live somewhere else, and we're going to set them up somewhere else beautifully because Gaza is just uninhabitable, without any mention at all of the exact policies of the US, all the money that gets siphoned into Israel for the weapons, all the US support and bolstering of the Israeli genocide. None of that is mentioned. And so this is just an incredible degree of brainwashing, gaslighting, propaganda, call it what you want. The fact that he could just come out there like this and Netanyahu grinning like a demon the whole way through and just talk about how it's a real pity, but they've just got to go because no one can live there. Why would they want to go back? And not even mention the fact that these two countries represented by these two men are what made it like that. Just not even mention that. And, you know, it's really staggering, because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to start to pick apart, well, does the US really have the right to own Gaza? And isn't it a sovereign land? And go down that path. And of course, like it's a land grab and they don't have that right. But I just urge people to really just take a step back and to really look at the incredible amount of arrogance, of brainwashing that these criminal psychopaths have, to not even have a shred of remorse, of shame, of scruples, and of any responsibility in the devastation that their countries, and in Netanyahu's case, him personally, ordering this for the last 15 months on the Gazans. Just talk about it as though it was just a pity, that it was just a demolition site and we're just going to have to clean it up now and move the Gazans out and put them somewhere else and everyone can be happy. And so ultimately, this is when the perpetrator tries to convince the victim that someone else is responsible. And this is when the perpetrator likes to come in and pose as the savior. This is what Trump's doing here. He is posing as a savior. He's, of course, got his whole business real estate developer hat on. Gaza's great. It could be wonderful. It's a great piece of land, all this stuff. But he's posing as a savior by saying, well, the US will clean it up and we'll make it stable. And it hasn't worked. Well, the reason it hasn't worked is because Israel has consistently tried to thwart a Palestinian statehood, which all the other countries in the region and big countries like Russia have said needs to happen to produce stability. Israel has deliberately made sure that cannot happen by severing Gaza and the West Bank, and by funding Hamas and doing all the other stuff they've done to make sure that Palestine cannot become a country, so that they can basically kick them out of there. And without any mention of this, it is just absolutely absurd that the way that they're trying to gaslight people. It is really reminiscent of the videos I made when Trump had just won the election. Trump, Hopium, and the Savior Rescuer in the drama triangle. He is being the Savior Rescuer again when he is the perpetrator. And maybe he's not the direct perpetrator in this case as much as Biden, but Trump is a Zionist to his genetics. He is doing whatever Israel wants. So he has given Israel a lot of support and money during the time when he was president the first time, 2017 to 2021, and he's doing it again now. And so these guys are the perpetrators, and they're posing as the saviors. This is really important, that people can look through the propaganda and the gaslighting and actually see this. As always, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Please leave your comments, and all links are placed in the show notes below every time. If you like this video and feel that I've earned it, please like, share, subscribe, and follow. My work is on Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and thefreedomarticles.com.